So I'm almost completely new to public engagement in research. So what I've done in this presentation is a summary of Horizon 2020 guideline documents on public engagement and illustrating how these guidelines or the ideas there permeate into two areas that I know better. One is open access, and the other is e-infrastructures funding by the European Commission. So first, the summary. In the Horizon 2020 program, public engagement in research is part of the responsible research and innovation cross-cutting issue. So it should be present in all areas of Horizon 2020, all funding, all work programs, all the funding areas. There is two sides in it, where first the multi-actor engagement and the civil society engagement. I'm sorry, apologies for the slides. Some problems with the Windows PowerPoint presentation on Mac. But the idea here is that there are two sides. First, involvement of a wide diversity of actors from different areas of society, and second, the involvement of civil society organizations. I hope the other slides are better. Then the expected benefits are that are connected to the societal challenges, which is one of the main pillars of Horizon 2020. And it's expected that the outcomes will be more societally relevant and desirable because more diversity of stakeholders has been consulted in the development of the work programs, and they've been engaged also to the research actions themselves, and therefore greater consumer acceptability when the research finally reaches the marketplace. And last but not least, the more scientifically literate society of knowledge-driven and empowered citizens. Sounds good. So, as I said, it's a cross-cutting issue in Horizon 2020, part of the research and responsible research and innovation area. It's integrated in a number of Horizon 2020 work programs. It should be dealt in evaluation of all areas of Horizon 2020. And the funding that goes into public engagement can be addressed in specifically designed core topics that are targeting specific areas of public engagement, or they can be embedded, for example, as a work program, as a task in large initiatives, large projects. What has been done by until now in Horizon 2020 as part of, we could say, public engagement activity? There was a very large public consultation on Horizon 2020, open consultations. So all kind of civil society stakeholders' responses, not only research, were received. The fact that one of the main focuses of Horizon 2020 is on societal challenges, also expected to increase the public engagement. And there is a new emphasis on open access to research publications. More information, I would recommend to have a look, if you're interested, an online manual for civil society organizations on how to participate in Horizon 2020. That was a summary. Then open access in the European Commission. There was already a FP7 open access pilot. Now in Horizon 2020, this has become a mandatory for all research, peer-reviewed research publications coming from Horizon 2020 projects, project funded by Horizon 2020. As preparation for the next step, Horizon 2020 includes an open research data pilot on open research data sharing. We are working on other aspects of open science also. There was recently a consultation on open digital science, Science 2.0. And maybe when we go to the end of the road, will we have open grant proposal evaluation? Who knows? These are, if you want to know more about the open access in the Commission, these are the three main documents that set the policy for later developments in open access. They're all from July 2012. The publications mandate in Horizon 2020 means that each beneficiary must ensure open access to all peer-reviewed publications produced in as a result of the research in the project. They must deposit these a published version or final peer-reviewed version in a repository, ensure open access to these publications. There is an embargo period of 6 months, 12 months for social sciences and humanities. They must also ensure, and this is completely new, it doesn't exist in FP7, open access to bibliographic metadata that identify this publication. This is also relevant, I think, because it enables better discovery of these publications. And they must also aim to deposit at the same time the research data needed to validate the results, so the so-called underlying data. So the second example is about the e-infrastructures in the funding programs FP7 and Horizon 2020 and how it relates to public engagement. Let me see. So there is e-infrastructures is part of the research infrastructures area in Horizon 2020, dealing with major scientific equipments, knowledge-based resources, and the high-performance computing, distributed computing, communication networks, data infrastructures, as that we call also e-infrastructures. This is of course very relevant to science and research, while we are moving more and more to e-science practices in all areas of science and research. I just heard a presentation about digital humanities, so we must include that also. And the needs are increasing, as you can see, the explosion of research data that is generated. The growth is exponential. And it's also related to scientific collaborations. Digital science, e-science, is very often goes hand in hand with collaborative science. I suppose you have all seen this picture many times. Same for the European area. It's based, of course, on collaborations as seen in scientific publications. And the reason, the rationale for infrastructures is also for staying competitive in science. They are needed for large-scale collaborations, which are essential part of the research nowadays. They're often global. They include virtual research communities and very often access to rare and remote resources. Data-intensive science is the basis for, and it needs the basis of digital data infrastructures, and also very powerful computing infrastructures. In the sub-area of research data, there was in 2010 a communication of a high-level expert group on scientific data infrastructures called Riding the Wave. Just I recommend still important reading because the current European funding in this area is very much based on this document. And this document also mentions somehow public engagement, because it underlines that the public has access to, should have access to, and make creative use of the huge amount of data available, and also contribute to creation of this data. And they should be also educated to make the best use of it, of this abundant information. And access and usage should be facilitated not only for specialists but also for non-specialists for the same reasons. Then some FP7 projects that have a kind of public engagement dimension in the e-infrastructure area. Of course, OpenAir, which is the open access infrastructure, including a large consortium of mostly European research libraries, supporting open access policy with tools for both policymakers and beneficiaries, and also reaching out to all stakeholders by European network of national open access desks. And it develops and operates as well an electronic infrastructures for access to European research outputs and other related services, e-services. Then EUDAT is also a large European project dealing with horizontal data infrastructures. One of the services developed by EUDAT is called B2Share for storing and sharing research data. It's a user-friendly, reliable and way for researchers and citizen scientists. So here we consider citizen scientists also as a kind of public engagement to store and share small-scale research data. Upload is free, and registration upload and registration are free for stable research data. Permanent identifiers are available, and it is targeting specifically researchers who do not have adequate facilities for storing research data with metadata, cannot guarantee long-term persistence of their locally stored data, and do not have adequate facilities to easily share this data, results or ideas with colleagues. Then another infrastructure also from FP7 the Distributed Research Infrastructure for Hydrometeorology, called DREAM, is an e-science environment that facilitates the collaboration between meteorologists, hydrologists, and earth science experts. It is a lot. This project has it's also trying to engage a large community of citizen scientists who are now interested in relevant events and which also are actively involved in research. And they have a specific interest in get them participating and to supply certain services to this community. And one of these is linking with the previous project UDAT for storage. Quite different project is GLORIA, which involves 17 astronomy telescopes in 4 continents, and it aims to provide all the necessary tools for diverse communities to work together synergistically. And it's specifically targeting citizen scientists who are interested in astronomy, because everybody it's a telescope network that anybody can use to do observations. Of course, you need some knowledge in astronomy, otherwise it would be useless. And it offers also students the opportunity to perform scientific experiments. Yet another FP7 project called Discover the Cosmos, which is targeting teachers and students interested in e-science, and try to get them involved in science using existing e-infrastructures. It is one important aspect in public engagement, which is to get more young people interested in scientific careers, is one of the main objectives of this project. And it's also targeting community building between researchers, teachers, and students by using, sharing, and exploiting collective power of unique scientific resources. And finally, the Engage FP7 project, which is trying to bring open government data to be more usable by researchers. So advancing the capabilities of researchers in doing research on open government data. And in addition to also to make these scientific outcomes more accessible to citizens, so that they can better monitor the public service delivery through this research made on open government data. That was about FP7. In Horizon 2020, in the area of infrastructures, I would mention two topics that are not so much about citizen science as the previous FP7 project, but the different areas. There is a specific topic for SMEs, the network of HPC competence centers for SMEs, because it has been identified that SMEs have needs for high performance computing and very rarely have access to these resources or have ability to use them. So therefore this topic is targeting proposals that would like to foster the use of HPC by SMEs and contributing to the overall HPC strategy. It intends to build a small network of small centers across Europe, and will support the topic will support one such network to promote access to high performance resources by SMEs. And the other topic is in the e-infrastructures program also on new professions and skills for e-infrastructures, a topic which is also, in my view, interesting for research libraries, but specifically is also related to public engagement because it intends to tackle the challenge of how training opportunities could be made available at all levels and for all communities potentially engaged in research and innovation activities. And in its scope, it includes e-infrastructure community champions to advocate on new jobs and skills needs at schools, universities, and scientific communities. And it intends to make available more professionals for e-science, experts in tools and services. That's about e-infrastructures. If you want to find more information and the guidance documents on Horizon 2020 and public engagement, these are the basic Horizon 2020 documents and the Horizon 2020 website. Thank you.